The investigation into a corruption probe allegedly involving 7 Toronto officers and a retired constable has prompted a province-wide review of police forces. Joining us now is Ontario's first Inspector General of Policing, Ryan Teschner. Ryan, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to know first, this is a province-wide probe. How much of the efforts, though, will be focused on Toronto Police? This is the force where these allegations originated from.
Well, I think it's important to remember that we want a strong policing system overall. There are 45 police services in Ontario, including the Ontario Provincial Police and all of the municipal services boards. And we want to make sure that there are no weaknesses in the system at all. That's why I've decided to launch a province-wide inspection to examine the entirety of the sector. And while Toronto will be a part of it, we'll make sure that we cover the province and identify where the system needs improvement, where the system is already strong, and make sure that there's overall improvement consistently right across the board.
And I'm assuming in order for this review to be carried out, you would most likely need some sort of a level of cooperation amongst the 45 police forces, including the OPP. Have you received that commitment?
In my time in this role, we have ensured that police services, chiefs, and boards understand our approach as an oversight body, and we have received constant support through our work. I expect no different here. At the end of the day, everybody needs to be committed to this mission of ensuring that Ontario can remain a shining star example of what good policing looks like, and that where there are improvements to be made, everybody embraces oversight as a mechanism to get us there. So I firmly believe that I will receive that cooperation. The other piece, though, that's important for the public to know is that under the policing legislation that my role is created under, there are tools and legal tools available to us to make sure that we can obtain the information that we need to do the work that we have.
Therefore, requiring those police forces to fully cooperate with this review.
That's correct. And I expect that cooperation. We've received nothing but cooperation. But yes, oversight comes with the tools to do it.
So you're looking at a number of factors here into each one of these police forces. Can you walk through what sort of questions and areas you're looking to conduct this review as it pertains to the police corruption investigation?
Sure. This inspection is focused on ensuring that integrity remains a cornerstone of our policing institutions. And I've identified 5 issues that this inspection will examine and probe. The first is about recruitment and vetting. When people come into the police service, there's often a lot of work done to vet them as candidates and as new recruits. We want to make sure that the vetting processes are strong throughout the life cycle of somebody moving through an organization and not just from the time that they enter the organization. The second is on supervision and span of control, making sure that the way that members of police services are supervised is effective, making sure that the span of control is right-sized and fit for purpose, because at the end of the day, everybody needs to answer to somebody, and we want to make sure that that supervision is strong, effective, and always in place. Third issue is about access to police databases. Every police service in Ontario does checks during criminal investigations, during traffic stops, and a host of other policing. We want to make sure that every time those systems are accessed, they're accessed for a legitimate policing purpose, and that there are controls in place to spot when instances occur where the legitimate purpose isn't there and someone's information is being accessed. Fourth issue is about evidence and property management, making sure that when police seize evidence, property from a crime scene through an investigation or otherwise, that there is proper continuity throughout that process and the evidence ultimately goes to where it needs to, either for testing or ultimately before the court's criminal charges. The last issue is about substance abuse and fitness for duty, making sure that officers receive the support they need to do the very hard job that they do on behalf of all of us, all of the impacts and effects that can come from that, while making sure that when they put on their uniform, they are safe and then they can keep the people of the cities and communities that they patrol safe as well.
And as I understand it, it's going to be an external investigator who's going to be overlooking and conducting this review. I'm wondering who is picking this person and what sort of qualities are you looking for?
So under the policing legislation, I can appoint an inspector, and that is what I will do here. I will bring somebody from outside of government, and I will appoint them an inspector. And once I do that, they have the powers and authorities to conduct this inspection fully, to get access to the information that they need so that they can ultimately analyze these issues. In terms of the type of person, obviously I want to make sure that they have the skills and abilities to do this work, that they have familiarity with our policing and our legal system, and that they ultimately can bring to bear those skills to this important task.
Could it be, could a former police officer or anybody who worked with police be appointed to this role?
I think it's important for this inspection to be and be seen to be independent, not disqualifying anybody, but I definitely am going to have that top of mind as I think through who this individual can be. I want to make sure that once they're appointed, they can get to work quickly, that they're supported by a small team, and that they ultimately can look into these issues that the public have legitimate questions about, and that we owe it to members of police services to answer for them as well. I think it's important to keep in mind here that there are 40,000 individuals, men and women, right across the province who work in police organizations on our behalf. They literally run into danger so that we can run away from it. And we owe it to them just as much as we owe it to ourselves to answer these questions and make sure they're part of institutions that are strong, that can deliver safety for all of us.
Inspector General, you are, as we mentioned, Ontario's first Inspector General of Policing. This sounds like an unprecedented review that is set to get underway. What sort of promises are you making to the public to ensure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and have, public trust in the forefront?
Well, I'm very proud of the work that we've already done in just under 2 years at the Inspectorate of Police. We've released a full report on public order policing that looked again across the sector to ensure that the right controls and systems, the right procedures and policies were in place to make sure public order policing was as strong as it needs to be. We've got expert staff here that analyze data and tell us what the data picture says. And we take our work very seriously. I'm here every day to do work on behalf of the public and, quite frankly, on behalf of the policing sector who need us to deploy our oversight well and thoughtfully. That's exactly what we're going to do here. And one of my commitments is to do everything we do transparently. We'll make sure that when I appoint this inspector, we announce who that is. The scope of the inspection in more detail is defined and available to the public, and that when the inspector delivers their findings report to me, that we make that public as well. And then any decisions that I make, any directions that I can issue, police services or boards that flow from that independent assessment, those too will be made public. Anyone goes to our website, they will see that we already have reports and IG decisions on there. We're committed to that transparency, and we will take no different an approach in this process.
All right, Inspector General of Policing Ryan Teschner joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.